Hello everyone, I welcome you all. So in previous lecture of thermodynamics, we have discussed what is the subject thermodynamics means, what is the scope of thermodynamics, what do you mean by the thermodynamic system, what are the different types of thermodynamic system. So in today's lecture, firstly we will establish a definition for the thermodynamics, then we'll go to learn about what is the thermodynamic property for a system, how can we define a thermodynamic property for a system, etc. Okay, so let us first define the or set up our definition for thermodynamics. So thermodynamic, we can say that sorry we can say that it is a fundamental subject that describes basic laws governing the occurrence of physical processes associated with transfer or transformation of energy. Okay, then it also establishes relationship between different physical quantities which are being affected by these processes. Okay, so this is the comprehensive definition for the thermodynamics. So we can see what does thermodynamic mean. It is a fundamental subject that describes basic law governing the occurrence of physical process which are associated with transfer or transformation of energy. Transfer means the form of energy is not changing, but only it is transferring from one body to another body. Like if I am having a cup of hot tea, so the heat will transfer from that hot tea to the surrounding. So heat is not changing its form, energy is not changing its form, it's just transferring from one body to another. Okay, or transformation of energy. Transformation means if I am sorry, if I am converting the heat energy into some into form of work, then there is a transformation of energy with the help of heat engine, obviously. So it deals with the process which is associated with transfer or transformation of energy. and it also establishes the relationship between different physical quantities which are being affected by these processes. Like there is a process is being taken place inside a cylinder or piston. If I am, let me draw the piston and cylinder arrangement. So if I am, this is a piston, this is cylinder, some gas is filled. So if I am compressing this piston, so what will happen? Volume of the that cylinder inside the cylinder will decrease, pressure in that inside the cylinder will increase, and obviously temperature will also increase. Okay, so the thermodynamics also establish the relationship between these parameters which are being affected by this process. Okay, so it does not only concern to the processes, it also establishes the relationship between these parameters which are being affected by this process. Okay, so now we'll move forward. In previous lecture we have discussed about different types of systems. Okay, so we have discussed like there are mainly three types of system. One is closed system, another is open system, and isolated system. Two terms that you will came across frequently. One of them is control mass, and second one is control volume. These two terms will you will see frequently in your books or in numerical problems. So what does it mean by control mass, or what does it mean by control volume? So when we say control mass, we can identify that control mass means we are controlling the mass. Similarly here, control volume means we are controlling the volume. So control mass means mass is fixed. Similarly, control volume means volume space is fixed. And let me remind you what we studied in closed system. In case of closed system, mass is constant, or we can say mass is fixed. Similarly, in case of open system, volume is fixed. How volume is fixed? Let me tell you. Let us take an example that we took in previous lecture. We draw a turbine in previous lecture. See, this is a turbine. This is inlet or this is outlet. So what we defined, we took a open system by defining this as a boundary of the system. Okay, so now you can see that here continuously mass is coming and mass is going out. So we cannot say that same mass is inside the system. Continuously new mass is coming and some mass is going out. Okay, but what we can say certainly that the volume inside this system is not changing. That we can say definitely. Okay, so once again I'm telling we cannot define that the same mass is remaining in this inside this system, because continuously that some mass is coming and some mass is going out. Okay, so definitely the mass is changing inside this system, but we can see that the system volume has been fixed by the boundary of the system. So volume of the system is not changing. That's why we call the open system control volume system also. Okay. Similarly, in case of closed system, let me draw example of closed system that we draw last previous lecture. It is a piston cylinder. So whatever mass is inside this cylinder, there is no opening. Okay, neither mass can go out or not mass can come in, new mass. So mass is fixed, and when I am moving this piston upward or downward, volume is changing. So what is the fixed quantity is mass. That's why the closed system is also called as control mass system. Okay, so now we can say, if what do you mean by control mass, it is a closed system, or what do you mean by control volume, it is an open system. Why we call open system as a control volume, that you know now, because in case of open system, the volume is fixed, mass is not fixed, mass is continuously changing, the identity of mass is continuously changing, so we cannot fix the mass. Let me give another example. In case of in winters, most of us have has in our home the geysers. Okay, so what is the purpose of geyser? In geyser, cold water comes, there is a heating coil, it gets heated with the coil, and hot water goes out. Okay, so constantly, continuously, new water is coming, some water is coming inside the geyser, it is getting, or it is taking, extracting heat from the heater, and it is going out. So you cannot say that same mass is constantly inside the volume, or sorry, inside the system. But we can say that this boundary of the system is fixed. So we can say the volume inside the system is always constant. Whatever is the mass, what whatever is the identity of the mass, but the volume of the system will be the same. That's why we are saying this open system as a control volume. Similarly, closed system as a control mass. One more thing that in previous lecture I forgot to tell. I told you that boundary. I told you that two types of boundary. One is real, and second one is imaginary. There are two more types of boundaries. First one is fixed, and second one is movable. What do you mean by fixed or movable? Fixed boundary means the boundary is not at all moving, or movable boundary means boundary can move. In this case, the piston, the one boundary is being made by piston, but as the piston move upward or downwards, the boundary is moving. Okay. Other boundary, this cylinder boundary is fixed. Okay. So what are the different types of boundary being used in this system? Firstly, all boundaries are real boundaries. There is no imaginary boundary, and there is fixed boundary also, and there is movable boundary also. So mainly there are four types of boundaries: real boundary, imaginary, or fixed, or movable. Okay. I hope you got an idea now. So now we'll move further. Now let us take the property of the system. So what do you mean by property of the system? Okay. So let me take the example of classroom that I have taken in previous class. Okay, this is the class. This is one door D1. This is another door D2. There are some students are sitting inside the class. Now, if I want to define anything about the class, now I am taking this class as my system. Okay, so this is my system's boundary. Okay, so anything which can define the state of this class, like what are the number of students inside the class. Okay, so number of student. Similarly, number of boys, number of girls, number of faculty members. Okay, so these are the things which are defining the state of a class. So these all things are called property of the system. Okay, so these all are property of this system. Okay, so what we understand, that any characteristic of a system which is defining the state of a system is called property of the system. Let us take one more example. Let me draw a piston cylinder arrangement once again. Okay, this is our cylinder, this is our piston. Now let us consider this is the position 1. Piston is static here. There is no interaction is going from the system to surrounding. System is this boundary. Okay, so now about this system, what I can define, I can tell easily what is the volume of the system. Then I can measure the temperature of the system, or I can measure the pressure of the system easily. So if I am able to define these characteristic of the system, these all are the characteristics of the system, and these all are defining the state of the system. If the volume changes, the state of the system will definitely change. If the temperature change, the state of the system will change. Similarly for the pressure. So all the characteristics which are defining a state of the system is called property. So all this is volume, temperature, pressure are all are properties. Okay, so we can say if we define the property, so we can write any characteristic of system which can define state system is called property of the system. Okay, so if there is any characteristic of my system which is defining the state, what is the state of my system, then that property is called, sorry, that characteristic is called property of the system. Now there are mainly two types of properties. One is intensive property, and second one is extensive property. So what does that mean? What is the difference between intensive or extensive property? So when we talk about intensive properties are mass independent properties. Whereas extensive properties are mass dependent. And what does it mean by mass independent and mass dependent? Mass independent or mass dependent means, in case of intensive property, if I am taking 1 kg of this gas or 100 kg of this gas, the property will not change. For example, if I am taking, let me do a half. Okay, if I am taking this much of mass, the temperature will be same, the pressure will be the same. So when I am changing the mass, the property value is not changing, because it is the system is in equilibrium. So anywhere you will find the temperature will be the same. Okay, so the value of temperature, the value of pressure will be same, whatever is the value of or magnitude of the mass. So we can say that temperature or pressure is my intensive property. Similarly, in case of extensive properties are mass dependent. Mass dependent how? If I am taking the total mass is m, and I am considering only m by 2 mass, then the volume will definitely will change. Okay, so volume will change. So volume will be the extensive property. Similarly, other kinetic energy. We know what is the formula of kinetic energy? Half m v square. V is the, sorry, we can replace the v with c, because it will create a confusion between the volume and velocity. So half m c square. C is the velocity, m is the mass. So you can say, as the mass is changing, the value of kinetic energy will change definitely. Similarly, potential energy, mgh. As the mass will change, the value of potential energy will change. So there are so many properties which are dependent of mass. Okay, so now how to get which is the intensive property or which is extensive property? So let me tell you how we'll get to know that this is an extensive property or this is an intensive property. Okay. Let us take, this is an system. Okay, the system's volume is V, temperature is T, and pressure is P. Okay, now what I am doing, I am separating this system. Let us define this state of the system as 1. Okay, so volume will be V1, temperature will be T1, and pressure will be P1. Okay, now what I am doing, I am just dividing this system into 2 equal half. This was 1, now this is 2, and this is 3. So now the volume of 2 will be V2, temperature will be T2, and pressure will be P2. Similarly, T3, V3, comma T3, and temperature will be P3. So now I will compare the state 1 and either state 2 or state 3. Those properties of the system which are remaining equal even after dividing the system, those will be intensive. तो जो प्रॉपर्टीज सिस्टम को डिवाइड करने के बाद भी सेम रह रही हैं, उनकी वैल्यू चेंज नहीं हो रही है, वो कहलाएंगी क्या? इंटेंसिव प्रॉपर्टी. और जो प्रॉपर्टीज सिस्टम की डिवाइड करने के बाद चेंज हो जा रही हैं, वो कहलाएंगी मेरी एक्सटेंसिव प्रॉपर्टी. So you can easily tell here that temperature will not change. The value of temperature will not change. So temperature will be intensive property. Similarly, pressure, the value of pressure will not change. The pressure will be the intensive property, but the value of volume will be changing. So volume will be the extensive property. Okay. So there are so many examples I have given you, like kinetic energy, potential energy. Now you will study enthalpy, entropy, okay, internal energy, total enthalpy, total entropy. Here, density, or we can say thermal conductivity K, okay, viscosity. These are just some example of intensive property. Okay, so I hope now you get the idea what are the difference, what is the intensive property or what is an extensive property. Okay, so now let us move forward. Now you know what is the property of the system, but how to define property of a system? When we can define a property of system? Let me ask you one question. Again, this is I am taking the example of classroom. Okay, there are so many students are there inside the classroom, and both doors are open, so student can come, student can go out, okay, anytime. So if I am asking you, tell me the number of student inside this system. This system is the classroom is my system. Okay, so if I am asking you, tell me the exact number of the student inside my system. So if the continuously some students are coming, some students are going out, can you tell me the exact number of students inside my system or inside my classroom? You cannot tell. Similarly, if I ask you that what is the number of boys, what is the number of girls inside the classroom or inside my system, so that same you cannot tell, because continuously there is a interaction is taking place between the surrounding and my system. Some students are coming, some students are leaving from the class. Okay, so you cannot define the number of students, number of boys, number of girls for this system. Okay, so when can you define? For defining the number of students, what you have to do? You will do one thing. You will just go to the doors and close both doors. Okay, so when you have closed both the doors, this door has been closed and this door also has been closed. So no students can come inside and no students can come go outside. Okay, now the number of student inside this system is constant. So now you can easily count and you can easily tell that this is the number of students, this is the number of boys, or this is the number of girls. So you can easily, so you can understand what I have done to get the value of the property of system. I have just separated the system, or I have stopped the interaction of the system with respect to surrounding. What one mass interaction was being taken place. So for getting the exact number, exact value of the property, I have stopped that interaction. Then after stopping that interaction, I can easily tell the value of that property. Okay, so this is the one way of defining any property, and this is called isolating the system from its surrounding. Okay, so let us take a new page. So topic is heading is how to define the property of system. Okay, so how to define? First one is isolating the system with respect to surrounding. Okay, this is the first method. So what we are doing in this method, we are isolating the system. Means what we have studied in case of isolated system. What do you mean by isolated system? There is no mass interaction and there is no energy interaction. Okay, this we already know. Okay, so in case of isolated system, there is no mass interaction between the system and surrounding, and there is no energy interaction between system and surrounding. So when I am isolating the system with respect to surrounding, what I am doing, I am stopping any interaction, or I am preventing any interaction between system and surrounding. Okay, so there can be there can be any mass interaction and or energy interaction. Okay, so let us take one more example. Okay, this is the piston cylinder arrangement, and some working fluid is filled inside this system. Okay, so if we can see that this is a closed system, not mass can enter or not mass can go out of the system. Okay, but what we can see, heat can go out from the system to surrounding, or heat can come inside the system from the surrounding. There are two possibilities are there. Similarly, the piston can go up, so I can do work on the piston, or I can provide a force on the piston. The piston can go up. Similarly, the gas can provide a force on the piston, and it can go down. Okay, so this I am work input, and this is work output. Okay, so what I am doing in this system right now, there is no mass interaction, but there is energy interaction can take place. So if I am insulating this cylinder piston, this is the symbol for insulation. Okay, so what I have done, I have insulated the system cylinder with respect to the surrounding. So insulation means there is no heat interaction with respect to system heat interaction from the system to surrounding. Okay, similarly, what I am doing, I am putting stoppers here and here. These are the stoppers. Stoppers means these stoppers, let me write. Similarly, this is insulation. Okay, so what stoppers are doing is stoppers are preventing the motion of the piston. So piston neither can go up or neither can go down. So if there is no mass interaction and there is no energy interaction, so there the properties of the system, the pressure inside the system, the volume inside the system, the temperature inside the system, or energy of the mass of the system, this all will remain constant. These things will not change. So if these things are not changing, so I can easily define each and every property of the system. Otherwise, if I am leaving the I'm letting the heat interaction taking place, or I am letting the work interaction taking place, as the piston is moving upward or downward, continuously volume will change, continuously pressure will change, continuously temperature will change. Okay, so if the value of any property is continuously changing with time, you cannot define. It has to be constant even for a fraction of time to define that value for that particular time. Okay, so that I am achieving when I am isolating the system with respect to surrounding. Okay, now I hope you got the idea of how to isolate the system with respect to surrounding. Okay, the second one is, sorry, second is bring the system to dead state. Okay, second option is, or second method is bringing the system to dead state. What do you mean by dead state? As the name you can see, name suggests, dead state means there is no potential of movement, there is no potential in a dead body. Dead body cannot do anything. Okay, similarly, in a dead state there is no potential. Okay, no potential for any change. Now what do you mean by this? Let me tell you one, let me take one example. Once again, we have, now we have a cup of tea. Okay, inside the cup some hot fluid is, or let us take tea is fluid. Okay, now the temperature of this tea is T1 and temperature of surrounding is T infinity. So in first condition, let me assume that T1 is greater than T infinity. Okay, so when the temperature of this tea is higher than the temperature of surrounding, what will happen? Definitely, if I am not insulating any, not isolating the system, definitely heat will transfer from my system to surrounding. Okay, so heat, continuously heat will transfer, and when, till when the heat will continue transferring from this system to surrounding, till T1 is equal to T infinity. Okay, and this stage is called dead state. Dead state means now there is no potential. Earlier there was a temperature difference between the system and surrounding, so there was a temperature potential. The present of there was a temperature potential, so that the heat transfer will take place. But when we are equating the temperature of the system with respect to surrounding, there can be no heat transfer because the temperature of system and surrounding is equal. Okay, are you getting the idea? Similarly, let us take one more example. Let me tell you, let us say this is a building. Okay, height of the building is h. Okay, so if I am putting one bucket of water, okay, bucket of water here, so when I will spill the water, it will definitely come down from that height to ground state. Water will come down. On the other hand, if you are pouring the water on the ground itself, here the bucket is there, one bucket is there, you are pouring the water ground itself, water will not go further down. Why? Because there is no potential energy or potential difference, or datum head is zero, so water cannot go further down. So when I am putting the water on the ground itself, I am putting that water bucket as a system to dead state. Okay, so putting the system as a dead state means equalizing all the properties of the system to the surrounding. Means if I am having a piston cylinder or invent, okay, and I am saying some air or gas is filled inside the system, okay, and it is in dead state. So can you tell me what is the pressure, what is the temperature, and leave out what is the volume? Can you tell me? If the temperature of surrounding is 25 degrees Celsius, okay, I am saying that this system is in dead state. So that means, sorry, right now you consider that this piston is massless. Okay, I have drawn a vertical piston. So let us take that this piston is massless. So right now, what does it mean? If I am talking about dead state, means there can be no heat transfer from the system to surrounding, or there can be no heat transfer from surrounding to system. So temperature of the system T should be equal to temperature of the surrounding. So T is equal to T infinity, that is equal to 25 degree Celsius. Okay. Similarly, if it is in dead state, the piston cannot move upwards or piston cannot move downwards because there is no potential. So the pressure of inside this system should be equal to pressure of the atmosphere or surrounding. Okay. Similarly, we can find out the volume with the help of pressure and temperature. So now you know what is the two different conditions through which we can define the property of the system. Okay. First one is isolating the system with respect to surrounding. Another one is the bring the system to dead state. Okay. So now we'll move forward. Now we'll define one or two terms. First one I hope you already know is density. So what do you mean by density? Density is mass per unit volume. So the unit of the density is kg per meter cube. So if I reciprocal the density means 1 by rho. What does it mean? It is V by capital M. And this is defined at specific volume, small v, denoted by small v, and it is called specific volume. The definition of unit of specific volume is meter cube per. Okay, so specific volume is volume per unit mass, or density is mass per unit volume. There is another term. It is called specific gravity. Specific gravity or relative gravity. Sorry, relative density. Okay, it is denoted by S. It is the ratio of density of any fluid or matter to the density of standard fluid. Okay, so generally standard fluid we take water, and we take the density of water as 1000 kg per meter cube, which is at 4 degrees Celsius. Okay, so if I am giving you that the specific gravity or relative density of mercury is 13.6, so tell me the density of mercury. So you can easily find out that putting this using this formula, that 13.6 is equal to density of mercury divided by density of water, which is 1000. So density of mercury is 13600 kg per liter. Okay, so please remember this term, because this term is going to be you all are going to see this term very frequently when you are solving the example. You will not get the density value directly. The question in the most of the numerical, you will get the value of relative density. Okay, so now let me tell you about something about the density. So when we talk about density of mainly gases, okay, so as we increase the temperature or as we increase the pressure, there are two different effects on density. What are these? When we increase the temperature, the volume of that, sorry, capital volume, I should write it capital V, gases will increase. So by formula, rho is equal to m by v. As the V will increase, the density of that gas will decrease. Okay. On the other hand, if I am increasing the pressure, I am compressing any gas, so volume of that gas will decrease. So volume, as the volume will decrease, the value of density will increase. Okay, so if I am increasing the temperature, it will leads to decrease in density for the gases, and if I am increasing the pressure, it leads to decrease in the density of the increase in density of the gases. This you can practically see when we there is, in case of summers, we say that we don't if you are living on a top floor of any building. Let me give you a practical example where you can see. Let us say that there are so many floors of this building. There is a building. If I am living in the on the top floor, okay, so we generally, if there is a ceiling fan, okay, so if I we are in the afternoon, if we are using ceiling fan, what happened? We get hot air on ourselves. Why is that? That is the reason, because when the air gets hot, the density of the air decreases. Okay, so hot air density is low as compared to cool air. Okay, so the fluid whose density is low will move upwards, and whose density is high will go downwards. So hot air will move towards the ceiling, and cold air will be at the bottom. Okay, so that's why in case of summer seasons, when you are having the top floor, or you are living on a top floor, the ceiling fan throws a very warm air. Okay, this is the reason why we are having the fridge. Let me give you one more example. You all would have a refrigerator in your homes. Okay, there in the refrigerator there is a compartment which is called freezer. Okay, in freezer you put ice tray, so the temperature of the freezer is lower as compared to other cabin. Okay, so why the freezer is only top at the top? Why we can why we can't we put the freezer at the bottom? The reason is, as the cool air, when the air will come, it will get cooled in the freezer. It will become denser. So density of the air will increase. So as the density of air will increase, this will go downwards, and here hot air will go upwards. Why? Because the density of hot air is less than the density of cold air. Okay, so the cold air will come down, and the hot air will go upwards. Then if you have put something, let us take milk, then the milk will extract the milk will give the heat to the air. Then again air will get warm, and then it will get hot. Then again the density will decrease, so it will again go upwards. It will again cool down, density will increase, so it will again go downwards. So there will be a natural cycle inside your refrigerator. So that's why the refrigerator, uh, your freezer is at the top of your refrigerator. Okay, but in case of when we talk about density of solid and liquid. Okay, so in case of solid and liquid, the density is almost constant. So we treat these two we treat solid and liquid as incompressible substances. I can give you an example. The density of water, raw water, is 998 kg per meter cube at pressure of 1 atmosphere. Okay, and if I am increasing the pressure from 1 atmosphere to 100 atmosphere, what is the density now? It is 1003 kg per meter. So you can see what is the difference. 998 and 1003. There is only 5 kg per meter cube difference. When I am increasing the pressure 100 times. Okay, so it is almost incompressible. Okay, one another example I am giving with respect to temperature. Again, density of water is 998 kg per meter cube at a temperature of 20 degrees Celsius. Okay, and if I am increasing the temperature to 75 degrees Celsius, the density will decrease to 975 kg per. Okay, so you can see upon increasing the temperature, there is a effect which is going on, which is changing the density, and the impact of change in temperature is predominant to the impact of change in pressure. Means what I am trying to say कि अगर मैं प्रेशर चेंज कर रहा हूं तो उसकी प्रेशर चेंज करने से डेंसिटी में इतना इफेक्ट नहीं पड़ रहा है एज कंपेयर टू मैं जब टेम्परेचर चेंज कर रहा हूँ. ओके, यू कैन इजीली से आई हैव चेंज दैट प्रेशर. मैंने प्रेशर 1 एटमॉस्फेयर से 100 एटमॉस्फेयर कर दिया. 100 टाइम्स मैंने प्रेशर चेंज किया. ओके, बट डेंसिटी में क्या डिफरेंस है? ओनली 5 kg पर मीटर क्यूब का. On the other hand, मैंने टेम्परेचर को सिर्फ 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस से 75 सॉरी 7.5 नहीं है 75 I have increased 20 degree Celsius to 75 degree Celsius, approx 3 and 3.5 times only. But the change is density has decreased from 998 to 975. So we can say in case of solid and liquid, temperature has more effect on density compared to pressure. Okay, so we can write it in case of solid and liquid, temperature has more effect on density as compared to pressure. Okay, so that's it for today. So what we studied, let me once again recapitulate all the things we have studied from the starting. So firstly, we established the definition of thermodynamics. Then we defined what is the control mass, what is the control volume. The control mass is closed system we call the control mass system, or in open system we call control volume system. I clearly give, by example I shown you why we call it control volume or why we call it control mass. Then we discussed about what is the property of the system. So there are two types of properties, one is intensive, then another is extensive. How you can define or how you can know, कैसे आपको पता चलेगा कि which property is intensive, which property is extensive. So you can easily divide the system into equal parts and just compare it with the whole system or divided one. Okay, so कभी भी आप सिस्टम नंबर 2 और 3 को कंपेयर नहीं करेंगे. Keep it in mind, you have to always compare the original system, whole system 1 and after division जो सिस्टम आपको मिला है वो उस सिस्टम को, मतलब 1 और 2 और 1 और 3. Okay, then we discussed how what are the different condition when we define the property of the system. So there are two things through which we can define. First one is isolating the system with respect to surrounding. Second one is bring the system to the dead state. Then we defined what is the dead state. Then we define the density. What do you mean by density? Then specific gravity, relative or relative density. Then what is the effect of temperature and pressure on density of gases? Similarly, what is the effect of temperature and pressure on density of solid and liquid? Okay, so that's it for today. I hope you all get an idea of today's lecture. Thank you very much.